MG Rod back with you, and today I'm continuing on bodywork, and I'm starting to tape it off here so I can start laying down some more primer today. Now, if you don't want to spend the money on the proper paper for painting cars, yesterday's manure works just fine. My dad used that for many, many years, and I have too. Now, I don't actually have subscription to any newspapers, but I generally use what comes in the advertisement bags and get papers from people who do have subscriptions. Now, one thing you do not want to do with automotive paint is you don't want to cheapen out on the masking tape. Don't buy cheap hardware store masking tape. Always buy automotive paint quality tape, because that stuff you can leave on for a month and it'll still peel off. And once you've laid the paint on, the paint won't eat into that stuff and make it just stick to the car really bad. Cheap hardware store tape is not worth it. It can be very hard to get off. The paint can attack it, and if you leave it on too long, you're screwed. Tip of the day. And another thing, if you are using newspapers, just remember that the very bottom edge of the newspaper oftentimes has pinholes all the way down it. Like here, there's holes right here, from the equipment used to process the paper and run it through the mill. So never use that edge against your moldings or taping things off. Always use the top or sides and let that part be the part that this part be the part that overlaps in the middle of the window where you're taping everything up and you're not going to have direct paint. All right, it is now Sunday, July 4th. Now, the Good Guys is on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I plan on going on Saturday. And then I have another event points event on Sunday. So I've gotten the rear fascia roughed in and then first coat of primer along with the hatch. Worked on some of the imperfections and some of the parts there. Got the front fenders roughed in and first coat of primer. Started working on repairing my front spoiler, but I have not touched the bonnet yet. That may or may not actually happen. It might end up just staying in bare metal for now and getting painted later, because of my work schedule. I pretty much have to have this thing in at least the first collar tomorrow night to have any chance of being able to have this thing done and ready for next weekend. And I still also have to change the front springs to tweak the suspension a little bit more for the next points event, which is next Sunday. So there's still lots of little imperfections around the car that I still need to work on. And that's what today will be all about. Working those imperfections out, blocking it out, and getting another coat of primer on here. And I got some issues from some old body work from years and years ago that's starting to give me some problems right in through here. There's some old body filler that's been in there for years is starting to pull away from the body a little bit, and I don't really have the time to get in there, dig it all out and redo it, but it's the only way to actually do it right. Okay, well, I got it all blocked out, and I've laid some primer back on the trouble areas that I was dealing with. Now, I will not be painting the bonnet right now. I do not have enough time to be able to prep that and get it ready. But this will not be up to my normal standards of what I would do for a customer because of being a bit short on time and race car. Since I am doing a tribute of a race car from the early 80s that's just a short track car, those things would not have been prepped anywhere near even to the level I'm prepping this one. Even though my dad did prep his cars better than most of those guys did, you know, he would still make it just a good, 10, 15 footer. And that's all I'm really trying to do, make a good 10 footer here. Because I'd like to still keep some of the flavor of the original car and not make it seem overdone. And I simply just don't have time if I want to get it done for next Friday. So there we are. Tomorrow I'm going to try to finish blocking it out, clean the place up, move cars around, and at least get the first coat of color on. The black. So there we are. This is MG Rob. Later.